Okay, here's a 2x4, just a standard wall stud 2x4 that I'm going to make into a 4-string mandolin. That's my plan right now. I've got it, at least the neck portion of it, laid out here, and I'm going to try to do a step-by-step video of how I'm going to make this thing. Yep, I'm just going to take a handsaw and cut it off at the spot marked for the, I guess I'll call it the neck portion of the instrument. Okay, next I'm going to remove right along that line there and along this line here, and I use these cutoff pieces to glue on to this portion here, and that'll make the box, the resonating chamber of this instrument. Okay, the two pieces that I took off from either side here are going to be glued right here, and that's going to form the outline of the box. I'll put glue a piece in here to make it good and solid, and then I'll just have to make a top and a bottom. I'm also going to, that's the regular 1.5" thickness of a 2x4, and I'm going to cut this down to about 3/4 of an inch to make a playable neck, and hope that it still has the strength that I need for, I think it'll be alright for 4 strings. I wouldn't want to put 8 strings on it like most mandolins have. So that's next. Glue on the sides. First, before I glue on the sides, I'll cut this part down to 3/4. Alright, I've got the 2 sides that I cut off of the neck attached and glued and clamped, and I sort of roughly cut the neck to shape. I'll even it out with a rasp later. So now I need a top and a bottom for the box, which I'm going to resaw. I've got still over 6 feet left of 2x4. So by resaw, I mean I'm going to take a thin portion, probably I'll start with 1/4 inch. 2 pieces glued together ought to make plenty for the top and bottom. So that's what I'm going to do next, is try to find a relatively knot free portion of the board that's long enough to do the top and bottom of the box. Alright, I've resawn and planed down 2 thin planks from 2x4, and I said I was going to use a relatively knot free area of the wood, but this wood had fairly stable knot in it, and when I sliced into the wood, I discovered this kind of nice bird's eye pattern. So I think I'm going to incorporate the book matched knot holes into the design for my top, and then use the rest of this as a bottom. So now I have to glue and clamp these together to form a top wide enough to cover the box that's still gluing, that's still setting up with the glue. Well, now the box itself has taken shape, closed in with a plug at the end. Everything is glued up. My bandsaw crapped out on me just about halfway into this, so I've been doing a lot more with hand tools than what I normally do. So I hand tapered the neck and rounded the back of it. And now I've got the top piece with those knots left in for a bit of an accent. So the top piece and the bottom piece, basically that's two pieces of the 2x4 glued together in the center and then cut to size. So that'll go on the top, that'll go on the bottom, and then let's see. So left for me now is to drill holes for the tuning pegs and make a fretboard. Now for the fretboard I'm going to have to, let me turn this over. I'm going to cut some wedges from the 2x4 to give, since there's no neck angle on this at all, I'm going to cut some wedges to put underneath the fretboard, and that way it'll lift it up over the lip there, and also give some of the neck angle that I like, so I can have the proper bridge height and have a comfortable action on the higher frets. So that'll be next, I think, is to make the fretboard out of 2x4 and see if the frets hold, just as an experiment. And then I'll cut some wedges and glue that in place. That'll be maybe tomorrow. Oh yeah, one more thing about the top and the bottom. It's pretty flimsy, especially right there where the joint is in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and glue some braces across, maybe an X brace or something like that, to give it some support. And also I think the brace distributes the tone, distributes the sound to all parts of the top. So I think it'll improve the tone as well as brace up the rather flimsy joint right there in the middle. So I'll do that also. Okay, the bottom is glued on. Kind of crude. I think I'll leave it looking crude. A couple cross braces there. The top, I also got some cross braces just for support, I think. Got it marked where I'm gonna cut the sound hole. And I got my wedge made. I'll confess that I cheated a bit on the wedge, because the wedges I tried to cut were kind of gnarly looking, so I used a couple of these pre-made pine shims that you use for leveling door frames and windows, and I think that worked pretty good. They only cost $2, and after I messed up a couple of the wedges I was trying to make, I decided to use these. So anyway, I'm gonna cut the sound hole, glue the wedge in place, make the fretboard, and cut the holes for the tuning pegs. So I'm going to try to have all that done by the next video, and maybe do a sound check of it by then. The 4-string 2x4 mandolin is finished. I'm naming this one Freckle Face because of the bird's eye pattern that I found inside the 2x4 when I went to resaw the top and the back. I'm pretty sure I'll replace the fretboard that I also made from 2x4 because it just wasn't holding the frets. I glued them in place, but they are not very satisfactory. I wanted to leave as much wood on the headstock as I could, so I made the holes for the tuning pegs this way. The back has a little bit of the Freckle Face on it too, not as much as the front. So yeah, so there's the 2x4 neck and headstock. Had to add a little bit of extra piece right on there to make it thick enough for the tuners to sit flush. And I'll do a sound sample of it real soon.